Hello and welcome to Paropod, episode 88. You're here with your hosts, yet again, Mark and Owen.
Somehow it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed yet again for the 30th episode in a row. Something just fell. We're back again this week. This is a recommended film episode. We got a Ganja and Hess coming in hot later. Make sure to stick around for that. It's gonna be a lot of analysis and deep considered thoughts in about an hour's time.
Give or take, I don't know.
Yeah, around it. About 45, 50 minutes. But yeah.
I was more so talking about the deep analysis. We'll try.
Shallow. Well, who knows?
It's a deep film. We'll get onto it.
You be the judge.
You be the judge as to whether or not we gave this film justice, you know?
Absolutely. But yeah, how you been?
I've been grand.
You been good?
I've been thinking about meditation this past week.
Yeah?
Meditation, you know?
Meditating.
I used to meditate. You used to meditate?
Not really, no.
No. I used to meditate a bit, and I was like, trying to get back into it this week. Meditation's hard.
Yeah. I tried it a few times, and it has always worked, but it's just hard to get into the habit. Because remember, we did meditation in TY.
Yeah.
It was like a class where we did yoga nidra, which is yoga for the mind, I believe. And it was a lot of that stuff. Everyone would gather around in a big circle, and we'd all stare into the flame of a candle.
The flame.
Yeah.
That's where they think that when humans first discovered fire, that we would look into the flame and that would just make us think about things more deeply. Like humans are just like everyone knows that thing where you're just like staring at a fire and you just kind of get lost in the hypnotic flames.
You're like, what's the crack here? And
apparently that's where humans first learn to in a way meditate and think about things more deeply.
Yeah. There's a lot of things in meditation.
Yeah.
I read that blinking is a form of meditation. That
Conscious blinking, yeah.
Blinking as in just like a way to break, the way people blink to accentuate points, stuff like that, completely voluntarily.
Yeah.
But it's a thing where it's a way to kind of reset your thought process or reset your way of thinking.
Yeah.
And it's just like, as much as is it a way of lubricating the eyes, it's also a way of...
lubricating the mind.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically punctuation marks on your your consciousness, your thoughts.
Yeah, I could see it, man, because the thing that kicked me off in trying to meditate again was I saw this thing on TikTok that was like a quick way to get into a meditative state is to think to yourself, what is my next thought going to be? And if you keep trying to think, what is my next thought going to be, you can't. You just you really focus in on your head trying to think about what is my next thought going to be, and then you can really catch yourself in what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And it does work. If you just hit pause on the podcast and just think, what is my next thought going to be, and you'll find out very quickly you'll just think blank. And if you just keep thinking about that blankness, now obviously meditation is more so not thinking about anything but really focusing in on what you are thinking, or because everyone daydreams and stuff like that, but it's about catching yourself in that daydream and just being oh, I was thinking about this, and recognizing it. It's a quick way to get into a state of meditation, and it does work.
Yeah.
So I was trying that during the week, and then within 5 minutes, oh fuck this, I'm going to bed.
Well, say if you can't get to sleep, the other way sleep is basically meditation.
Yeah.
But it's built into your brain. If you can't sleep, what do you do?
Stress.
That's what I do as well. But
same.
the way is all these things counting sheep and all that stuff. Or try to make your mind completely blank. What do you do? Because that's meditation, pretty much.
I try to do, if I can't sleep, what I try to do is I try to rearrange how I'm sleeping. I never ever sleep on my back. Never sleep on my back.
I don't do that.
Not able to do that.
You get sleep paralysis that way.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I can't do that.
Can't do it. So what I do is I'll start off on my back. I'll rearrange the pillows. Where apparently this thing that they do in the army, the US Army, stuff like that, quick way to fall asleep is to elevate your feet and make sure your back is flat. So I grab two pillows, stick them underneath my legs, and then lie flat, which is one pillow behind my head. And then you
two pillows on your legs.
Two pillows underneath my legs, so my legs are slightly elevated.
Yeah.
And then your back is more flat on the bed, and just stay that for a little while. And you relax really quickly because your spine is just able to chill out a little bit, and then just roll over my side, and you're able to fall asleep pretty quickly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I always wondered, like, the way if like you have a battle in the morning, how are you gonna sleep? Like this could be my last day. How could you ever sleep in that situation?
Yeah, that's what you meant to elevate your feet. Apparently, that helps you sleep.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's their only advice. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, lie back, like flatten your back, elevate your feet, and cross your arms or something like that. Apparently, that helps you fall asleep pretty quickly that way. Because like, you know that, like, obviously if you're in a war situation, 20 minutes, half an hour max, you might be able to sleep, but you'll be able to get like 20 minutes, half an hour of like deep sleep.
It all counts. Yeah. But man, I don't know how they do that.
No idea.
You know, that'd be my biggest struggle as a soldier, getting any sleep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because like, even if you think like in any battle, like World War One, good luck, fucking good luck falling asleep there. World War Two, good luck. Stuff like that. I'm just thinking of like American wars because that's all like I think off the top of my head.
Or even like Vietnam, like you're gonna have you could be
ambushed.
Yeah, or airstriked at any second.
Yeah,
like you could be dead at any moment, but they're still there snoozing in trees or whatever, you know.
See, a load of drugs and drink.
I'd say so. Yeah, a lot of that involved. Yeah, apparently that's how ISIS actually powered a lot of their lads. They give them this thing called Captagon. It's like mass produced in the Middle East because there's no real regulation. But it's basically amphetamine. It's like a stimulant, and they give them to the fighters during the day. That's where they're really successful. It's kind of like a blitzkrieg kind of thing where they just overrun positions. Like the enemy be so taken back, like they just be like garrison forces that would be like caught by surprise. Because all the ISIS fighters be like these guys were like chewing the jaw, like absolutely mental. They couldn't give a fuck if they died because they're so high on drugs. Yeah. And then they'd be so tired out at the end of the day that they just like they fall asleep.
Yeah, man. When I was in town on Saturday before you came in, you know those like poles that people like set up in town and stuff like that. It's like, oh, if you can hold yourself up on this pole for like 2 minutes, we'll give you like 200 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
There was like some fella that like absolutely chewing the fucking jaw off himself, like pulled himself up, and we're like, I was like, this fella's gonna do it. He only lasted 30 seconds because that shit is way harder than you think it is.
Oh yeah, what do you
holding your own body weight? Yeah,
no way.
Yeah, no, it's so hard.
Yeah.
But like back to the drug thing. That's what they did in Nam and stuff like that. Like the Viet Cong would flood American bases with drugs.
Just really?
Like heroin and stuff like that, and just like it was like
them up.
It's like a form of psyops, basically.
Yeah. Well, fair play to them.
Yeah,
the Americans did way worse.
You know what? It worked.
It worked pretty well. Yeah, because they still do that in battle situations. They still like it's official policy of the U.S. military. They're called go pills, where if it's mainly fighter pilots that like I'm aware of anyway. But like if they're going on a mission, they'll give them
quick line, off you go.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They'll give them amphetamine salts and stuff like that. Just like really intense, like condensed drugs, stimulant drugs, just like to keep them like hyper focused. Because like you're a fighter pilot, you're crammed in this little capsule. All that really matters.
Split second decisions.
Oh yeah, all that really matters is like the amount of time it takes you to make a decision, and like your kind of reaction time, which is at best when you're like really stimulated on a lot of drugs. I think the new one now is like modafinil. They give them loads of modafinil. Because there was a big incident in the early 2000s. And you can look it up as well. There's a guy who's like, he was too strung out on drugs that he ended up shooting down one of his own pilots. He shot like a friendly fire situation.
It was a Top Gun, was it? Maverick.
This is just a movie.
Maverick went on a mad one.
Yeah, this actually didn't happen. No, but yeah, apparently that is the thing. But that's just the rules of war, you know?
Yeah,
it's just the way it works.
All is fair in the love of war, you know?
Yeah.
Folks, did you ever go to war?
Would I?
Yeah, like if Ireland got invaded, would you bear arms?
Yeah, why not? Well, if it's a good
something
cause.
to do, you know.
If I didn't believe in it, I'd be like, nah,
fuck that. Fuck that.
No thanks. If we got invaded, I'd be like, fuck that, you know. What else is there to do?
True.
Yeah.
You know that Ireland's like the third most expensive country in the world, apparently.
Is it? Cost of living wise?
Cost of living wise.
I'd say it is.
Absolutely fuck all the show for it.
You can tell, yeah, and there's nothing to do either.
There's like, I think Monaco. No, Monaco? Yeah, Monaco. Monaco is mad expensive. Monaco is the tax haven, isn't it? Yeah, Monaco is ahead of us, and there's another country ahead of us. I can't remember what the other country is, but there's only like Monaco is ahead of us.
Yeah. It's pretty New York and Monaco or something, is it?
Oh no, countries I'm talking about.
Oh, just countries. Oh.
Yeah, so I can't remember what the other one is, but it's like
pretty Luxembourg or something.
Yeah.
Because we're a tax haven as well. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
That's the thing. Like, you don't see Ireland as a tax haven, but
Yeah.
we are.
There's some article during the week that came out that said the average Irish person has a net worth, like a net worth, like so, like they have over some. It's over like between 100 grand, 200 grand, like positive net
I
worth.
don't know anyone that has that
No
money.
no one. I don't know a single person that
It's-
has that money.
That's the thing, right?
That's the
Average
Mm.
average is an absolute load of fucking bollocks.
yeah. It's
Is
so
it
topsy
is it
turvy.
medium or mean? Your mean average?
No, it's the median.
The median
The-
average,
the
yeah.
in between, like
Yeah.
the
The actual average, like.
yeah.
Yeah.
The number that's exactly in between the top and the lowest.
Mm.
Yeah, because that would be a much lower figure.
Way lower.
Much lower because it's got so many fucking random people. There's probably about 100 Russian oligarchs that live in this or technically live in this country. Who've
Mm.
never set foot in this on Irish soil, but
Yeah.
like, they still count in that, those calculations.
It's bollocks.
But that's just the way it is.
Just a load of bollocks.
Yeah.
There is no hope
There's no hope.
There is no hope.
Yeah.
except for the people that are around you, which is
Mm.
what everything, everywhere, all at once. taught us.
Paropod field trip time.
We went off to the movies on the weekend, did we, Marco?
We went to the movies, so we did.
We went to go see what was once the number 1 rated film on Letterboxd, has since dropped to number 3. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, directed by 2 people who did Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man. I'm gonna pull up their names now because I can't remember who the fuck did this. They're called like the Matthews or something. No, they're called the Daniels. Daniel Schneinert, Schneinert and Daniel Kwan.
Daniel Shiner, Daniel Kwan,
Yeah. So this is about an aging Chinese immigrant is swept up in an insane adventure where she alone can save what's important to her by connecting with the lives she could have led in other universes. So, I think off the bat, this film is going to get fucking a major backlash because
I agree.
number 1 film of all time, quote unquote, at one stage, then rated 3rd, which is like on Letterboxd, higher than like The Godfather and like Shawshank and like any film that you've ever heard is like the best film of all time. This is above that. It's only below Parasite and Come and See. It is not on that level.
Is nowhere near any of the films in top 50.
It's still it is very good, but it isn't on that level, I would say.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both had similar thoughts when we came in the film.
Yeah. This is this is a huge letdown for me.
Yeah.
Huge letdown. I didn't know really anything about it, but I only read glowing, like not even
Yeah.
glowing reviews, like reviews saying this is one of the greatest films ever made,
Yeah.
which is just so over the top. Because I can't see, like, forget about best film ever made or best film of the year. I can't see how anyone could even consider this a 5-star film in any way. Like, there's no way I can see someone or like justifying that. Like, how is this
Yeah.
a perfect film
I don't know, because
in
like
any way? I don't get it.
to
I
go
don't get
into because this is a new enough film, like minor spoilers
it.
for like.
well, it's not a lot of spoilers we can really get into.
I don't want to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to go into like major spoilers, but like minor spoilers because I think like part of this film is like hearing, oh, it's the best film ever made, and then its plot description isn't very clear as to what's actually what you're expecting. So like basically, this woman's living a shit life, and she's like get divorced, and she owes a bunch of tax and stuff like that, and she's just basically pulled into like a what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Alternate dimensions, like multiple dimensions.
Multiverse, yeah.
Multiverse, yeah. Kind of situation where she's jumping in between different realities that she could have lived to fight off like this god, essentially, that's taken over everything. And like, yeah, I don't know, because people apparently think that this film is like really nihilistic, but I think that if you think this film is nihilistic, you completely miss the point of this film.
Yeah. But it does. It really airs that way for ages. It takes
Yeah.
it way too seriously, because it is like a counter. There's a big counter to that at the end of the film, but it takes it so earnestly, so seriously for something that is like so obviously, like, 14-year-old level of philosophy.
Yeah.
It just seems like, with the scope and with like the way the film seems to be, like it's a really smart film.
It is,
But like,
yeah.
but it takes these like really stupid ideas so seriously that like the message is kind of defined and counter to them. but like that means like the message itself isn't as strong because it's like what are you trying to like what are you trying to say in terms of like because like you're not really. This isn't. You could basically say anything in response to those ideas because it's just like it's obviously bollocks to anyone. Like everyone watching is like, yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, and the film
that's
the film portrays like this is like nothing really matters, but like like it's like yeah, but then you have actually sorry, do you know just a quick point? The dad in this film, do you know who he is?
Yeah, Short Round.
He's Short Round, yeah, from Indiana Jones. Gas.
That is class.
I don't think he did anything in between these films.
Yeah, he just fucking. He just saved it for the best.
Yeah, he's the best. I absolutely adored that character.
He was great.
He was so cute.
They treated him so badly for most of the film.
Yeah,
you know, I was like, oh my god, this poor guy.
But like, yeah, as you're saying, like this mad like Reddit 14-year-old nihilism that's in the film.
It was so lame, you know, but like. It was just taken so sincerely. I don't understand why.
But I think that maybe this film is taken as like the best film ever made, because I think that like a lot of people do feel that way at the moment, where it's like, nothing really matters. Like we're going nowhere. We've gone through a pandemic. The world's in shit. Nothing fucking matters. Everything's a fucking joke. And then this film was like, yeah, but like the people around you are what's important, and that's a good message and an important message. But I've seen it before. Like I've seen that message.
You could get that on a birthday card in any shop you walk into. Like like that's such a basic message for like a multi-million-dollar. It costs like $25 million, which isn't a lot. Yeah, it's not a lot, but like, you know, surely you can come up with a better like moral. It's not even a moral, like a better theme, and especially considering the scope. Like they're talking about multiverses and all this stuff. And clearly, there's a lot of thought put into every step. And it's a smart film in that like I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, we were saying that we had no idea what was going on.
No idea what was going on, and part of that
in a positive and a negative way, though.
Yeah, there's positive aspects in that. Like, it was confusing in like a really surrealist
and super unique way.
Yeah. But also, it was kind of annoying, and it went on quite a long time where I didn't really know what exactly was happening. And then when it was being explained, it was very, very on the nose. It was like a video game where you get to like the first cutscene or whatever. But I just felt like the scope is just did not suit the messaging or the themes like in any way. Yeah, it's like nothing really matters. It's like, no, stuff does matter. Just the people around you. And it's like a multiverse kind of thing. Like maybe that's in opposition to that's like kind of contrasting against or defining itself against the central theme. You know, the central message. It's just it's such a boring message. Yeah, you can get that anywhere. It
felt like a really simplistic nihilism answered a really simplistic answer. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know.
It was such a basic reply to a really boring and basic kind of premise, you know? But like then the film itself is just crazy and wacky and all over the shop.
The film is fucking mental.
It's extremely well made.
And it's extremely enjoyable. Like, I felt the length at a certain stage, but like it's like 2 hours, 20 minutes. So like a long enough film. I didn't really feel the length. Then I did feel the length, and then like picked up again. I was like, okay, I don't feel the length again. But like, I don't know. You know that thing that they were doing in the film, and like my sister saw this film. Like, we saw it on the Friday. My sister went to go see it on the Sunday. You know that thing that they were doing, where they were like, oh, you have to do like a specific thing.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. To be fair.
But then they just dropped that. Like, you have to. It's hard to explain, but like essentially, if you want to like learn the skills of like an alternate version of yourself, you have to do like a specific thing.
Yeah, the least likely action in a given situation.
But there's a scene where one of the characters is told you have to like give yourself paper cuts in between your fingers, and then you'll be able to latch on to an alternate version of yourself. But then later on in the film, it just turned into, just do something weird. Like, characters that weren't, connected to this, like, inception device, essentially. Like, this, like, the people that were able to, like, the Matrix type of thing, where, like, they're, like, on the outside, being like, oh, there's a fucking, you need to do this to connect to this version. Like, characters were like, oh, just do something weird, and then you'll be able to connect to an alternate version of yourself. But that's not how it was established earlier on in the film. Earlier on in the film, it was like, you have to do a specific thing to then jump to another version of yourself. But then that just became, just do something weird. And characters who wouldn't know the connection were like, just like slap yourself in the face, and then you'll be able to jump to like, you'll be able to learn karate that way. It didn't stick to its own rules.
Yeah. Because it was a lot of it. There's a lot of zaniness. Like there's
the bagel.
The bagel thing.
The everything on the bagel. I did not find that funny fucking at all.
Yeah, even there's a good point. There's a good one about the raccoon,
Yeah.
which was funny for the first like 3 or 4 times, but
then
then
they did it like 10 times.
They made it like a plot line nearly at the end. It's like what, like it, like the film's like really
there's
zany.
There's an emotional weight to that joke, and it just wasn't emotional.
Yeah. It's like it's really zany and funny and creative and stuff, but then it's just like it's pure Reddit. That sounds really stupid, but like some of it just sounds like some of it just came across. It was just done to death.
It was mad internet.
As in it like it must have sounded really good in the writers' room, but then they like. Everyone just kept laughing because they were referring back to the original joke. But like, it's not as funny when you're actually sitting in the cinema and like it's just the same thing again and again and again.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the style of the filmmakers though. Because Swiss Army Man was kind of like that as well. Which
Yeah.
I didn't really like Swiss Army Man.
And people raved about that film as
yeah,
well.
people really like that. I don't understand the the vibe really, because it feels really shallow. In that, not that in relation to like other films, it's shallow in like a general sense, but like just the way. What it could be doing, and what kind of I don't know, it's not even pretending to do it, or what it's like, what it's capable of doing. Maybe it's like it's not even getting to like the minimum point. Like it just completely, it's all show and there's nothing underneath.
Yeah, I feel like it's a film where like you feel like you need multiple watches to like really understand the themes and stuff like that, but you really don't.
You actually don't.
I think
like the themes are just there.
Yeah, they're just there, and you don't really need to think that deeply about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, maybe that's what we look for in films more so than like what other people would look for in films, where like I kind of feel like I want to think about the film for a long time afterwards.
Yeah.
After I came out this film, thought about it for an hour, have not thought about it since.
Yeah. Same, yeah. Yeah, we literally talked about it in the restaurant afterwards for like an hour, and it was like, just moved on.
Yeah, but and like we weren't even thinking like, oh, like what did this mean or whatever. We're just like, that was a kind of disappointing film.
Yeah, because you
still good, but like disappointing.
Yeah, because there's stuff. Yeah, you'll watch it and you come out of the theater and like there's like a glow. There's just something about it.
Like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Which we had experienced like 2 weeks beforehand.
Yeah, there's like atmosphere, or there's like ideas that you saw, or like cool images, or like maybe different ways of approaching ideas that maybe the film enlightened you to and stuff like that. But in this film, it feels like the message is just something that like we've all seen like a million times. It's in a really pretty box, but even that, like it's like it's set in a multiverse, but the whole theme is all that matters is family. But like it's like such a huge dissonance there. I think like all that matters is family, but like you're in the multiverse. Like surely there's something else. It just feels like like the film itself is almost nihilistic in like a really, in a much bigger sense, and the fact it doesn't seem to be ambitious.
Yeah.
Or like going for anything beyond what is like immediately obvious in that kind of way, but not like an immediately philosophical way, and that like nothing matters or anything. But like maybe it has its own limitations that like it doesn't even seem to be able to see. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I heard people as well like raving about it. It's like it's a multiverse film before Marvel like does that to death, and like other studios do their like alternate universes, and like you got like fucking 5 different versions of the Flash showing up in the Flash TV show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Personally, don't give a shit. I don't care that this film did that before it came out, before it became like done to death. I don't give a shit. Like,
it's a cool idea. It's a really cool idea. But that's all it is. It's just a really good idea that doesn't seem to have been really, taken advantage of as much as it could have, perhaps. But I think a lot of that is also just the style of the directors, purely based off what I've seen on Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, I don't think I vibe with their style.
Yeah, because the vibe in those films is just so similar. I didn't even know they directed that.
After we're in the restaurant, and I was like, oh, they did Swiss Army Man. I was like, oh, I can kind of see now why I didn't vibe with this film. Because in a similar sense, didn't really vibe with Swiss Army Man either.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, yes, like Swiss Army Man is like, you had rave reviews. But if I watch both those films,
I understand that even fucking less. I actually think that Swiss Army Man is kind of shit.
yeah. But like, if I watched both those films, I'd appreciate them like just completely like in a vacuum. I watched them, I'd appreciate them, for what they are. Like 2 good films, Everything Everywhere, definitely more so than Swiss Army Man. But like I think the reviews also kind of ruined it quite a bit because
The reviews are gonna kill this film.
there were huge sequences in this film which were just like really really cool. Not just technically, but just in terms of like I don't know, just in terms of the presentation. It was like a lot of really good sequences.
And the action's very good in it.
The action's really cool, yeah, especially for like a really low budget kind of film, independent movie. But yeah, the reviews were just, I have no idea what they were talking about. Like not a single one. I couldn't imagine anyone giving this 5 stars.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't get it.
I just don't get it.
I just don't understand. It's still a good movie though.
It's still a good movie.
That's the thing. That's the worst part.
Independent film, you should go out and see it.
Yeah.
You should support this film. It's not a Marvel film. I don't really sound like a fucking dickhead saying that.
It's
but
not. Yeah, that's true. That's a good reason.
It's like it's an original film.
Yeah,
you don't get this often.
If you're gonna go see one film, next 2 months, don't go to Doctor Strange. Go to this.
Yeah, go see the other multiverse film.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Go see the other madness in multiverse film.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
you're better off.
Disappointing.
A big disappointment for me.
Especially because I'm I use Letterboxd quite a bit, and like oftentimes top films and Letterboxd, I'm like, yeah, very decent chance I'm gonna like really really like this film. Like even like Harakiri, which was number 3 or 4. I talked about it on the podcast. Didn't absolutely adore it, but I watched him like, this is like, that's a film where I can see why people give it 5 stars, and I did give it 5 stars because I did fall into the film. But there was always something in Everything Everywhere where like I didn't fall into the film, and I think maybe that's the humor or something.
Yeah,
maybe it's the humor that's kind of doesn't work,
because I feel like it'd be on a roll and then it just kind of just throw away the stakes, whatever stakes were there. With the stupid joke or something.
Yeah.
Or like the really repetitive jokes.
It wasn't that funny.
Yeah, that's also a problem. If it was really funny if they're really funny jokes, it would have worked, but they're just not that funny. Yeah. There's no point really where it's like, there's like a laugh out loud moment. It's a lot of like Marvel level
like
stuff.
The Rocks is like,
Yeah.
That was funny.
And they kept going back.
Yeah, and then it kept going.
Yeah.
And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going. So, yeah, it was good, but disappointing.
What can you do?
Was Martin disappointing?
Martin is a 1977 film by George A. Romero, director of Night of the Living Dead and various other films.
The father of the zombie film.
The father of the zombie film. This film is actually about vampires, though. It's about a guy called Martin, and he's a vampire from America.
Did he do Salem's Lot?
Romero.
Did Romero do Salem's Lot?
I don't think so, did he?
Could be completely wrong. Yeah, no, maybe
that's a great movie, though. You should watch that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that film.
I love that movie. So creepy. 1979.
Yeah. I know he did.
Man, directed by Toby Hooper. We have to watch that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Just seen that.
That's
we have to see that.
Right, we'll talk about that.
That actually is a great film.
Right, we'll talk about that next week.
It's 3 hours.
Okay, we'll talk about that some other time. Never mind.
What the fuck? A 3 hour Salem's Lot movie. I didn't know that was Toby Hooper. But anyway.
He did George A. Romero did Season of the Witches, though. He did do that. I know for a fact he did that.
What's that?
It's a witch film.
Oh, okay.
So he's done a witch film, a zombie film, or the zombie film, and then a vampire film.
And a vampire film as well. Yeah, Martin. Yeah, by George A. Romero. It's a vampire film that is credited in many ways with reinventing the vampire genre, which is a completely untrue claim, as we'll find out later in the podcast. But it's also known internationally as vampire. I'm just reading the Wikipedia page. No. But it's about this guy called Martin, and he's like it's just this really atmospheric take on the whole vampire story, because he like arrives in like northeastern America, and he's kind of this weird. It's implied that he's like really really old. He's like 200 years old, and he meets his like uncle at the train station, and his uncle is this old like Lithuanian American, like Orthodox Christian. He's like a Van Helsing kind of character.
Yeah,
but he's taking him in, and he has this. He knows Martin's a vampire, but it's never really made clear that if he is or not. Because it opens with this whole thing where he's going around and he drugs women, and then he slices their forearm and drinks the blood, and that's his method of he
doesn't have fangs, like.
Yeah, he's not a classical vampire in that kind of way, and there's the whole kind of element of drug use, that specter of drug use, because there's a lot of needle imagery and a lot of razors and stuff like that. There's no real class, there's not, the classical image of the vampire, like the fangs, the guy with the cape, like creeping over.
It's no Nosferatu, like.
Yeah. But that's what he's called.
Which we should also talk about soon.
Yeah, the old one.
The old one.
Yes. But yeah, he's his old his uncle or whatever, Kuda. He calls him. Your first one's Nosferatu, and he takes him in. He's like boarding in his house. He's like, all right, you do your vampire things or whatever, but if you kill anyone in this town, I'll drive a stake through your heart. And there's this whole there's these weird kind of episodes which are filmed in black and white. The whole film was actually supposed to be in black and white, but it ended up that it was released in color, and only the dream sequences and like fantasy sequences were portrayed in black and white.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of annoying because like
that's like the alternative to what they normally do.
Yeah.
Well, like everything else would be in black and white, and then the dream sequences are in color.
Yeah, maybe, but like it's annoying because it just makes it really obvious what's dream and what's not. Whereas I feel like it'd be more interesting if it was more kind of blurred, because in the black and white sequences you have a lot of the more classical imagery, like garlic and like steaks and like all this like weird Nosferatu kind of shit, and it's just basically Martin going around for ages grappling with his curse, going around drugging people and like slashing wrists and just being
doing mad things,
just being a crazy bastard altogether. And yeah, he's like talking to he becomes friends, he becomes acquaintance with this like radio DJ who refers to him as the Count, and he becomes kind of like his novelty caller on a radio station. He takes like he feels like questions from the public like about the life of a vampire and stuff. It becomes kind of a gimmick and stuff like that. And the film just kind of goes on like that for a while, and it's just him doing his vampire things, and Kuda,
vampire things,
and his uncle Kuda, just kind of loping along with him and just trying to figure out whether or not to how to deal with the situation. And he has a lover as well, and the woman's kind of, she knows he's a vampire, but she kind of wants to be a vampire as well. It's a really weird film, a really strange film. It's listed as one of the scariest films ever made.
It just isn't though.
It just is not.
Yeah.
You can tell by the way I'm describing this very poorly, but you can tell by the way I'm describing it. It's not very scary at all. It's very it's kind of domestic. It's kind of like Nosferatu, Herzog. I'm not just saying that because that's the last thing we said. But the way we watched that, and it's like it's slow. It's kind of like
Nosferatu, like Herzog's Nosferatu is very slow.
We didn't even finish that, did we?
No, we didn't even.
Yeah. And it's kind of just him doing his things for a lot of it. There's a lot of scenery, and there's not a lot of action, which is fair if you're like going for that in horror. And this was an innovative film in that sense, from what I can gather at the time, because it's regarded as one of his best, even though it came out with mixed reviews initially, as they all do. But yeah, then there's kind of a final confrontation between the uncle and Martin at the end, where he has to deal with the consequences of his vampire ways.
Whoops. Sorry, on your phone.
Yeah, that phone has a mind of its own.
It does.
But yeah, no, there's not much else to say about it.
Really, yeah.
There's not much to say.
I'm just like looking at like the letterbox there, and like people like rave about this film.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I wasn't like fully sitting down and like reading about it and stuff like that. I just kind of watched it.
Yeah.
There in the background. It's really atmospheric. It's like a. It has a 70s, like that creepy 70s vibe.
Yeah.
The guy himself is also a really good vampire. Like he just has that look about him.
Just when I was looking at it there, he looks like a proper vampire.
He has that look. He has a kind of stony look to him.
Yeah.
Big bony face on him. And yeah, but I don't know about like scariest film ever. Like or like.
I feel like films.
Reviews.
I feel like
maybe I'm just an idiot. Like I'm completely miss. I'm 2 for 2 now in this episode. I'm completely missing the point.
No, but I do kind of like. Reviews and like your expectations going into a film can really fucking kill a film. Like I really feel like there's a bunch of films where it's like, oh, this is the best film ever made. Like, it's classic, whatever. And I watch it and I don't really like it that much. And then I'm like, oh fuck, should I rewatch this film? Because did I go in with the wrong expectations? Did I need to set my expectations correctly?
Yeah.
And then view the film in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
But then there's other films where like I've heard that and then I watch the film, it's like I never want to see that film again. I've absolutely no interest. Like
Yeah.
8.5. I don't ever want to see 8.5 again. I'm not a fucking arsed.
Yeah, to be fair, we actually did proper watch that though.
Yeah, proper watch that film. I was like, fuck this. Fuck this.
Yeah, I had like a page of notes for that. Yeah, maybe I'd watch this again. It's not long at all,
Yeah.
and it is really. Oh wait, well yeah. If you watch the theatrical cut, it's not long.
Wait, how long is the director's or whatever?
The director's cut is 3 hours long.
Oh,
I don't know why or how that would be 3 hours long, but
because the theatrical cut is an hour and a half.
yeah.
Jesus, fuck that. No, no. Sorry. If a 3-hour film doesn't capture me, I don't think you didn't watch the 3-hour cut. I'm assuming.
No,
Yeah.
Jesus, no.
If a 3-hour film doesn't capture me, I'm sorry. I'm not watching you again. You only get one fucking shot. That's it.
Yeah. There's definitely themes that I kind of missed. I'm sure. It was also a video nasty back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one of the first films sanctioned under that kind of thing. But yeah, I just didn't really get it.
Fair enough. You know,
I'm just too stupid.
no, I feel like sometimes we just don't vibe with films.
I just don't get it,
and
man.
that's okay. That's okay. We don't have to vibe with everything.
Maybe I'll get it next time. I don't have it in my schedule though to watch it again for
Ah,
the next maybe 2-3 years from now. I'll watch it.
That's the thing. When you do that with a film, you need to go back to it years later.
Yeah. Plus, even just with the routine, I can't be rewatching films every week. You know,
You don't have time. Sorry.
I got time to fill.
Yeah.
on the podcast.
I need at least 2 films I gotta fucking talk about every week. I can't be rewatching shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's nothing worse when you watch a film like, oh fuck, I got nothing to say about
Yeah,
it.
this is shy in a bad way.
Oh, I have absolutely nothing to say. It's like, oh, I really like this film, but I don't really have that much to say about it.
That's the thing with Martin. It's like I didn't not enjoy it at all. You know, I thought I did not enjoy it.
You thought it was grand, like
Yeah, I thought it was perfectly fine.
that's
but
the worst.
maybe it just kind of passed me by. Yeah, and like that's almost worse than it being bad.
Yeah, because at least if it was bad, you have something to fucking say.
Yeah. It just kind of passed me by. Maybe next time, Martin. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time, George A.
George
Mr. George A.
Romero. Hey. Oh.
You sound like a ghost there, Mark. You sound like a bit of a poltergeist.
Oh, I am indeed.
Yeah.
That's a poltergeist.
That is a poltergeist. They're here. Yeah, we watched Poltergeist this week, as we said that we would last week. We actually
followed through on that.
Yeah, this is like one of the weeks where we actually watched a lot of the same films. But yeah, Poltergeist. We watched this film. It is a 1981, is it?
I don't know. Is it?
It
84.
is
I go 84. I'm going all in 84.
82.
I was closer the first time.
A 1982 film directed by Toby Hooper, but that is a little bit disputed because what originally happened with this film, Poltergeist, is that Steven Spielberg was meant to direct it, but he was tied up with a contract that he could only direct a certain amount of films at a studio. So he produced the film and handed it off to Toby Hooper, who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But Spielberg would come onto set and give creative advice over what should happen, to the point where it is disputed as to whether or not it's actually just straight up just directed by Steven Spielberg. Now, both him and Toby Hooper dispute that, but I think the fact that conversation is there can be seen in Poltergeist, because Poltergeist isn't like a Toby Hooper film.
Yeah, it's pure Spielberg job.
Yeah, it's way more of a Spielbergian film, because like we've seen Texas Chainsaw 2, and I've seen Mortuary. That was the film. Yeah, it's a film from the
And Salem's Lot.
Which you've seen.
Very creepy film.
So like this film is a classic, a horror classic, one of the huge, massive box. I think it was the 3rd highest grossing film the year that it came out. Huge film. Also has a reputation for being a quote-unquote cursed film, because there's a scene where they use skeletons and people say that, they used real skeletons, and a bunch of the cast in this film died shortly after the film came out. Most notably, the very, very young lead, Heather O'Rourke. She was 13 when she died. She was a child actor. She starred in this film. She's very, very good in this film. But essentially what happened to her is that she got misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease or something like that. And then she died of a cardiac arrest at the age of 13.
Fuck.
And the oldest daughter in this film was murdered by her boyfriend years after this film came out, and I think other people died in this film as well. It's one of these cursed films, but it's just unfortunate events that happened. I think it's kind of weird to sensationalize this film, be like, oh, it's a cursed film, when really it's just like, oh, it's just a bunch of tragedies that happened, and they just happened to be in this film because it's a huge fucking film. But Poltergeist, what do you think of it?
Poltergeist, I thought it'd be scary, to be honest.
That would be scary.
I thought it'd be way scarier.
I think it starts off very good, scary horror, and then becomes a Spielbergian film.
Yeah, it really does at the end.
Yeah.
Especially the false ending kind of thing. And then you have the last bit. That's just like pure, like, family. Like, you see that's like out of a PG rated film that you see in like.
This is a PG rated film, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
This is PG.
Yeah, it was PG when it came out,
Man.
which is kind of shocking because it's like pretty horrific dead bodies in this film.
Yeah. How did I never see this? I never saw this. I don't think I was allowed to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think I was allowed to see it either. It was. I think it was it's a PG film that people look back and like that should not have been PG.
Yeah. Oh, this is pre-Gremlins, I suppose. Remember?
Yes, it is pre-Gremlins.
This would have been one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because it was PG because a bunch of kids have seen this film, and I think that's why it has the reputation it does as being like one of the scariest movies ever made, because a bunch of kids went to go see this when they're younger, and Jesus Christ, this is not a kids film.
No. Yeah, it does start out a lot creepier. And then it just kind of like it lightens up quite a bit.
It escalates very quickly.
Yeah, it becomes more of an adventure film though. At one point,
we gotta get what the fuck's her name? Anna Louise. What the fuck is her name?
What, the little woman?
Carol Ann. Carol Ann's the little girl.
Oh, little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get Carol Ann out of that hole in her bedroom.
Yeah, she got sucked into the TV.
Yeah. It's like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's at one point. It doesn't really feel like it's like a haunting anymore. But yeah, no, it starts out really a lot different than it ends. But yeah, it becomes a pure Spielbergian thing. And I had a problem with the vibe and stuff. I think it just should have gone in a different direction. But that's just the way the film is. Yeah, that's just Spielberg. But I was sitting there and I was like, watching the thing, and it's just like. The music, I think did it John Williams do the score or something like that? I feel like he did. Because
my problem with this film, I did genuinely really, really enjoy this film, but I think I could have loved it if it was a Tobe Hooper film. If it didn't feel like a Spielbergian film, I feel like that family aspect of the film, because like no one dies in this film, and I think that I feel like someone should have died in this film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone, even like the fucking corrupt, estate agent, builder, land tycoon guy. Like even he survives.
He sure got sucked into the vortex. Or something at the end.
Jesus, my last note on this film is like, Jesus, that gaff was fucking haunted.
Yeah.
The thing fucking absorbs itself.
Yeah, and he's just looking at it. He's like, this isn't going to be good for the...
Oh, jeez.
This isn't going to be good for the stockholders.
The publicity. Oh, Jesus. A gaff just fucking sucked itself up.
Yeah.
Sucked itself off.
I hear
me gaff just sucked itself off.
It's a crazy story. Page 3 of The Sun. My gaff sucked itself off. But, no, but yeah, I was like, listen, like, it's like, it was one of the end sequences, and it's like, everything's happening. There's like this there's like huge score with this... It's like, it felt like fucking Star Wars or like E.T. or something.
It felt like E.T.
It felt like E.T. It felt like a family drama movie, adventure movie.
I actually think that I'm almost 100% certain that Spielberg was directing E.T. when this film was being made.
Yeah, it's 82, yeah.
Yeah, because this film lost out in sound design to... Is that a sound design or makeup to E.T.?
Yeah.
The same year.
Yeah, because I feel like if you had a different score... And if you just edited the film a little bit differently, and a small few creative changes, you would have a really scary film. Yeah, like a really scary film. But they obviously just went with a different direction and made a lot of money because of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They made bank.
Yeah, 120 mil in 1982. That's a lot of money.
And the thing, I don't think the film even cost 100. Or
it cost 10 mil.
It cost 10 mil.
10 mil, yeah.
Oh shit! I was gonna say it didn't cost even $1 million, but okay, never mind.
Yeah, but like Jaws by comparison made something like 350 million in like 6 years beforehand. That was by far and away the biggest film ever made. You know?
Yeah.
So, but this made half what Jaws did, which is still
astronomical. Like
incredible. Yeah. It's made a lot of money. So that's probably why they didn't make it really, really scary and gory like Mark wants in 2022.
Yeah, because like even like the aspects of the film that I do really like that are like Hooper-esque is its critique of suburban life and the American traditional family. Because the film starts off and you have this family that have moved or are living in this white picket fence. Like there's commentary about like how it's this estate, but every single gaff in the estate looks the exact same. Like the dad sells these like houses to people, and one of them is just like, all these houses look the fucking same. And he's like, yeah, but you can customize it yourself. Like my neighbor, he built a water slide from the bedroom down to the swimming pool. Like you can do whatever you want with these gaffs, but they start off all looking the exact same.
Yeah,
and
that's just class.
Yeah, that's a gaff. I love a gaff like that. A swimming pool and also a water slide from the bedroom. That's like lethal. But that is just straight up like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like let's look at the horror of the nuclear American family. Let's like subvert it and twist it, and like what's really going on underneath.
Yeah.
And what's going on underneath this film is that the gaff is built on top of a cemetery. Now, I have always heard that it's an Indian burial ground.
An ancient Indian burial ground.
That's not what it is. It's never once mentioned in the film that it's a Native American burial ground.
Isn't it?
It's just a cemetery.
Was it not said at the end that it's a Native American thing?
No, sure, man. When the fucking people are popping up out of they're in caskets first of all, and they're in like suits and like dresses and stuff like that. It's not like an ancient Native American burial ground.
It's just a cemetery.
It's just a cemetery.
Ah.
So my whole I had loads of notes about like, oh, this film is about building up on ground that doesn't belong to you, like sacred ground and stuff, and shit like that. That's not it at all. It's just a fucking cemetery.
I thought they said it.
No, they don't. And even on the Wikipedia page they say that, but I don't think it's mentioned once. It is just a cemetery. It's just a regular ass cemetery.
Yeah.
Which was like slightly disappointing because I've always heard that it's a Native American burial ground.
That's kind of disappointing. To be
I don't think.
I wish it was.
I'm almost certain that it's not mentioned in the film because I was waiting for them to say that, but they just say that it's a cemetery.
Yeah. This is a common mistake.
Yeah, is that
reading it there?
Yeah.
Except there is no Indian burial ground in Poltergeist. This is a common mistake.
Oh, I'm fucking so glad I was right about that.
No, you're dead right.
Yeah, no, but I was taking notes with that in mind. But it's not. It's just a cemetery.
The Indian burial ground. Yeah, it must have been Amityville Horror that's kind of.
Yeah, cool. I think that's what happened to this film is that they just
kind of confused it.
They confused it
because even in the parodies of.
Which is the Simpsons parody.
Yeah, which uses Amityville Horror and Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I never understood the end of that Simpsons one where the house collapses in on itself.
Yeah.
I was like, where's that in Amityville Horror? It's in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense.
The exact same thing.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is the film that the gaff like consumes itself.
Yeah, commits suicide.
Yeah, it's seppuku like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So half of my notes are completely fucking bullshit, but but there's 100% stuff about the TV in this film.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff about like media and like, because like when Carol Ann is like, she talks to the ghosts through the TV, and she like the opening fucking scene. Jeez, that scared the shit out of me. Man, you should have heard the foxes the last night. Oh my god, man. They woke me up screeching and howling. I thought there was a fucking massacre going outside my room. But it's just the foxes just going nuts. Because at the very start of Poltergeist, there's absolutely no build-up to spookiness. Like the dad falls asleep in front of the TV, and then Carol Ann, the little girl, comes in, and she sits in front of the TV, and she just starts talking to the TV. And it's like, oh no, there's just ghosts in this gaff, like straight off the bat. There's just ghosts in this gaff. And she's talking to the TV. And then later on in the film, she's there, like, she switches the channels just to watch static because then she can talk to the ghosts, or she can listen to the ghosts through the TV. And the man walks by and she's like, "Oh, don't watch that, that's bad for your eyes." And she switches the channel to some like horrific war scene that's going on. It's like people getting fucking blown up and disemboweled and stuff like that. And she's like, "Ah, that's perfect for a little girl to be watching."
Yeah, I saw that part. Yeah, I was like, what does
it mean? What does it mean? Is it a gag, or Toby? What are you telling me?
That's pure Hooper.
That's just it is just Hooper.
Yeah, because it's the same dynamic with like the parody of the American Family, whereas like in Texas Chainsaw, it's like this real like on the nose like anti-American family
subversion
kind
of the
total subversion. And this one is like just like pulling it up from its roots, it's like seeing, like laying it bare, like slowly pulling the threads out, and you have like all the, like the TV is such a central part of that huge like icon of like the 80s,
and like even the fact that like the most iconic thing in this film is the little girl in front of the TV. That's what everyone sees. And even the way that the film ends is like when the gaff like explodes and stuff like that, the family move into a motel and they just drag the TV out and they just leave it outside.
Yeah.
But like there's all that aspects of it, but I feel like the film doesn't build upon that stuff, because then it turns into a Spielbergian film.
Yeah, I feel like a lot was like kind of left on the field in terms of what if. I feel like Hooper definitely would have wanted to do something about the TV. No matter how like maybe wacky or harebrained it might have been. Maybe more in the style of Texas Chainsaw 2 than anything else.
Yes,
maybe he probably would have gone down that route. But the TV is like that's. There's a lot you can do with that, and especially in this kind of film where it's all about icons and just pure imagery. And the TV is all about imagery. It's a huge symbol in terms of like 80s stuff. Like you look at video drama stuff, that's just the first thing that comes to mind. But like it's everywhere, You can just kind of you can put anything into it and take anything out. And this film stands for like, evil. Like the beast is inside the TV.
Yeah.
Like you can do a lot with that. But
like
the film,
the TV literally takes your children. Like
yeah. The film gets there, but then it just kind of stops and just turns into an adventure about going into the not even the TV, just getting the kids back out. But there's no real kind of elaboration, or like there's no real sitting around with like what. Like why, or like what does this mean, or like anything like that.
It turns into when I was watching this, is like, oh man, this film has 100% inspired Insidious, specifically Insidious.
Why specifically?
Because they get in the fucking team to be like, I hear this gaff is fucking haunted, and they're trying like this demon or whatever is trying to take this kid, and we need to go into this alternate version, this alternate reality to pull the kid out. To save them. That is literally Insidious.
Yeah, it is.
They have to get like these Ghostbusters to show up and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, having said that, like Insidious is like way more like horror and like is way more an adult film, and this film's PG. However, that fucking scene where one of the like Ghostbusters is like hallucinating and his face starts to melt.
Yeah. How is this a PG film?
No, but I haven't said that. Fucking Indiana Jones, the first Indiana Jones film, is also a PG film.
With the melting faces.
With the melting faces as well.
Yeah.
So maybe
this was way worse though.
Way
worse. He's peeling off his skin and stuff.
Yeah, he's literally like with his hands peeling his face off.
Yeah, man. If I saw this when I was a kid, I'd be going mental.
I think just in the 80s, they just didn't give a shit as much.
Yeah. But like, you could just walk. I think you could just walk into the cinema then,
Yeah, you could, just mad easy.
Yeah. I wonder what that says.
What does that say?
What does that say about us?
This PC world that we're living in, people can just peel their face off a piece.
PC gone mad. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a fucked up bit though.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like that was like the makeup and like practical effects in this film are lethal. Like even when you got the big fucking monster thing that comes out of the room and just like screams at the man's face.
Yeah.
Like they're like really good special effects and stuff like that. I think it's done. What's that really famous production studio called? You know, the ones that do like Star Wars and stuff like that.
Oh, Industrial Light and Magic, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
they did this
Lucas.
film.
Yeah.
They did this film as well, which again, Spielberg.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Spielberg 101. Classic Spielberg.
Classic Spielberg.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Is it supposed to be? It's the devil, is it? What is the Poltergeist?
Beast.
The Beast, yeah. She says the Beast.
Yeah.
But like, I feel it doesn't really elaborate on that. I feel it would have been way cooler if they elaborated on that.
You know what I think?
There's like more of a haunted house kind of thing where if you step, like this place is pure cursed, you know?
Yeah.
But it feels like a lot of it was kind of like amusement park kind of stuff, where you're stepping into the room, out of the room.
Amusement park, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because the first half is different, and then the second half fully commits to it, but it's just kind of amusement park kind of vibes.
Yeah.
For me.
And they're like they're not gonna kill the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna do that.
Mm.
And then when no one dies at the end of the film, it's like, yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a fun, good, spooky film.
Mm.
But like,
They should have killed the realtor.
they should have killed the realtor.
Come on.
Like they
You
should
know?
have. And like that stuff of like, you moved what was it? You moved the tombstones, but you didn't get rid of the bodies.
The bodies, you didn't get rid of the bodies. Damn.
Damn, calling them out. But like,
Fuck.
I feel like there's so much material there that you can like make that critique. But it doesn't really go there.
What do you mean?
Like I feel like you could have made a more of an effort, like more of a point about like suburbia and like how it's like literally like this America is literally built on the burial ground of people,
on the bones
on
of
the bones,
past.
but it doesn't really go there.
Yeah. I feel like our man Toby really wanted to. I feel like he knew. He was like, this could be a fucking banger. He's just sitting there sipping on his can or whatever.
Yeah,
and Spielberg was like handing him bags of cash,
like,
one bag of cash
yeah.
every 10 minutes.
It's like, do this.
He's like, this film could have been it is.
Yeah.
It's a really good film, but he's like, this film could have been out of this world.
Yeah, like reading the Wikipedia page, apparently Spielberg wanted this film to be the supernatural version of Close Encounters.
Yeah, okay.
Which you can really like. I think you can kind of tell, like more like less horror and more like spooky fun vibes.
Yeah. Spooky fun, family adventure kind of stuff.
But in that sense, why the fuck do you get the guy that did Texas Chainsaw to make that fucking film?
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, why would you do that?
Well, I suppose it's good that I'd say if he didn't get Toby Hooper,
Oh, this film would have been like fucking whatever.
Yeah. So it's maybe a good thing, you know, because he's able to balance. At least he's able to balance it with some kind of like a lot of positive points. A lot of it's a good film. Like a lot of positive points in there. Whereas
I really like this film.
if he got fucking Robert Zemeckis or Chris Columbus to make this film, it'd be shit. you know?
Yeah.
Or, well, it wouldn't be shit, but like it wouldn't
Who's
be
the
as
guy that
good.
did Gremlins?
Huh?
Who's the guy that did Gremlins?
Dante.
Yeah,
Something
Joe Dante.
Joe Dante. Yeah.
You got Joe Dante or something like that.
Yeah, just some goon, you know.
Yeah,
some
Spielbergian goon.
Yes, one of his hired men.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven, what do you want me to do today? You know. Come on, stop.
I'll be your puppet.
You got Toby, and he gave it a whack.
And give it a whack, because I have heard that or I read that there was clashes over what the two of them wanted this film to be.
Yeah.
Because even this film doesn't start with the title directed by Toby Hooper. The film starts and ends with Steven Spielberg production.
Yeah.
So that tells you a lot about what you're to expect from this film.
Yeah, come on.
Like it is good,
Steve.
but it could have been more.
It could have been more, yeah.
You know, it could have been it literally could have been another Texas Chainsaw in terms of layers and stuff like that.
That would have been amazing. A suburban Texas Chainsaw.
Which kind of is what Texas Chainsaw kind of is that as well.
Yeah, but it's just in the country.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can think about it anywhere.
You know, you can just, it's polar opposites, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been a good follow-up.
Would have been a goodie, but sure. Still a good film. Still
What
an enjoyable
can you
film.
do?
What can you do? We can go for a break.
That's it.
That's what we can do.
That's it.
And our recommended film of the fortnight is Ganja and Hess, directed by Bill Gunn. After being stabbed with an ancient German-fested knife, a doctor finds himself with an insatiable desire for blood. This is Ganja and Hess. Some marriages are made in heaven, others are made in hell. Dun dun dun.
Whoa.
A experimental horror classic that not many people have heard of, because this film was released by the studio, the original cut was given to the studio. They fucking hated it. They sent it off the cans, got massive applause at Cannes. They then sold the rights to another studio. Studio cut the film to bits into a 70-minute or 80-minute long film. The original film is an hour and 50-minute cut. Film was released then multiple times with multiple different names. I know that it was originally released in 1972 or 1973. And when The Exorcist came out, like a couple of years later, they re-released it under the title Double Possession and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous stuff. This film was more or less forgotten, but it's directed by Bill Gunn, who is who's been seen since as like a very important black director in the 70s and stuff like that. But he never got to see this film get the acclaim that it has now.
Yeah, how did it kind of revive itself?
It was sold to... He sold the original negatives to the Modern Art Museum in New York.
Oh, cool.
And then they worked with someone to release it in the 90s or the early 2000s. And then it got like more acclaim then. And it got like revitalized basically. But yeah, it's a black horror classic, more or less. It was actually remade as well by Spike Lee, in the 2000s at some stage. But
the Sweet Blood of Jesus or something like that.
Yeah, the Sweet Blood of Jesus. But apparently it's shit. Apparently that film is shit. Because this film is
it's one of a kind.
It's a weird film, and I think it's a very hard film to try and remake.
Yeah.
Because what's good about it is very specific about this film.
Yeah, I wouldn't remake it because it seems like you'd be kind of playing with parts that aren't really entirely consequential
in
the film.
Yes.
You know, it's a lot of style.
Majority is style, I think.
Most of it's style, you know, which is very dependent on the person who's making the film.
And especially like because this film, what happened with this film when it was being made was that blaxploitation became huge in the early 70s. And the studio came to Bill Gunn and they were like, we want another Blackula, which I've never seen.
Blackula, yeah.
You've heard about the film Blackula?
I've heard about it. I've never seen
it. But they wanted another Blackula. But Bill Gunn was a mad cunt and he made Ganja and Hess, which is just not... It
is and it isn't.
It's in the vein of blaxploitation, but it's not a blaxploitation film.
Yeah, it's a reclamation.
Yes. It's way more... It's not an exploitation film, which I think is like the problem.
It's an art film.
It's an art film, which is not what the studio wanted. Apparently, the recut version of it is in the vein of what the studio actually wanted in terms of it is way more of an exploitation film. But Ganja and Hess is a art film, and it's a weird film because like its structure is really fucking weird.
Yeah, it is quite hard to follow.
Yeah, it's hard to follow. Like, it's very simple, but also, like, hard to follow at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if I was just, I think it's unconventional the way it tells the story.
100%. 100%.
I wasn't, because I'd be expecting a certain thing to happen, or to be explained, and then it's like, they're just going to leave it.
Yeah, just leaving it.
They're just leaving it. They're letting me figure it out for myself, which is good, you know. Because it's not in a way that maybe, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, as a recent example, where like I had no idea what was going on for the first hour of that film, and then it's kind of explained really, really quickly in about 20 minutes, not really satisfactorily, which kind of betrays the idea that maybe, like, they didn't know how to really explain it as they were going along, or that they didn't know how to really do it. When this film, like, the point is, like, you're not, they're just telling it as it is, and you're supposed to like plug into the flow.
That's my dad saying. I was like, what the fuck is that?
We got a guest speaker.
Yeah.
But you just plug into the film, and jump into the flow of it rather than wait for an explanation.
Yes.
And then you catch on very quickly once you're like in the rhythm of it. Because
once you're in with the vibe,
it does make sense. Once you're just in with it, because there's a lot of sequences where there's like, they're not even dream sequences. It's just kind of cutting away. It's real it's real stylistic. It's real surreal. It's very dream-like. There's not a lot of it's not like a rational film. It's about vampires and stuff.
But vampires is never once mentioned in the film either.
Yeah. But it's just about people, are addicted to blood or something, So
It's a film about addiction.
Yeah.
Because what I had originally heard about this film, it's like, it's a film about black assimilation and like white cultural imperialism and stuff like that. But when I watched the film, I was like, I don't see that at all. I just see this film as a film about addiction and about like black culture and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't see. Yeah, I don't really see how it fits into the reading you mentioned there.
Yeah.
The addiction.
I did not see that at all.
Yeah. I thought it was like more like the drug kind of thing. I would have related to like, because obviously that's a big thing back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
because that's a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what people, when I was reading about Martin and stuff, because that's where I first found out about Martin.
Yeah,
just reading reviews of Ganja and Hess, as someone mentioned about how this film was like. Didn't receive the praise that Martin did get for kind of introducing the kind of theme of addiction in the context of a vampire story, which is what I think, which is much better or a more clear reading that I would have taken away from it. Because it is that, it's that kind of it's about drugs and stuff like that, and just kind of like being addiction. And
it's about being addicted to blood.
It's like vampires.
Yeah, it's about vampires.
It's just about vampires, bro.
Yeah, it's just simple. It's very I think the most like experimental and like mental aspect of this film is the sound of the film. The sound in this film is like, it's like so hard to describe. It's hypnotic and like eerie and really sets the vibe and like paranoia, I guess, throughout the entire film. I am very bad with describing music in general, but like just the soundscape that's in this film. It's all these like tribal music, more or less, and like mad drums and stuff like that, and like eerie and like distorted sounds and stuff like that. Like when Ganja and Hess are turning into vampires, like it sounds like you're going insane when you're listening to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It reminded me, the tribal music they had in If. It's a long time ago now. We watched it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
There's like a tribal track in If, which is just like symbolic of. Because If is obviously set in like a British boarding school. It's like the height of upper class, really well mannered kind of erudite English public school boys, and then there's like this tribal music that comes in, and it's the interruption, like the disruption of all this kind of properness, by like some kind of ancient primeval force that's like hidden within everything, and it's like the same. Yeah, I think the music in this kind of served the same purpose. Or those like hallucinogenic sequences.
Yeah.
Where it cuts apart from this like kind of mannerly estate which Hess lives on. And you have these crazy visions and this weird chanting and stuff. And it's like it's the interruption of this really ordered world by something which is like, way deeper inside of him and deeper inside of all the characters in the landscape and stuff. And it works really well. It looks really good. It sounds really good, and it really draws you in, puts you in that mindscape as well. Yeah, like
because this film, even the restoration of the HD cut of this film and stuff like that, still has like scratches and like pieces of hair and stuff like that on the film.
Yeah. Oh man, it looks so good as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It reminds me of like Texas Chainsaw and stuff like that, like gritty, like it looks like an exploitation film. In the same way the Texas Chainsaw looks like an exploitation film, but the two of them are not exploitation films. They're art films or art house films that are way, way, way away from what was coming out at the time. And even like the acting and stuff like that. The acting is so weird. It's almost like it's all improv or something like that. Like you have like these conversations where when they're delivering their lines, it's like, are they making this up as they're saying it? Like, because it's like they're having this conversation. The first one is, and Bill Gunn is actually the fella, the assistant.
Mida, is it?
Mida, yeah, that's his name.
I thought he was incredible. I thought he was really good.
Oh, he's so good. Yeah, Bill Gunn was an incredible actor as well. And
really smart guy.
Yeah,
really smart guy.
Something off.
Yeah, there's something seriously off.
Something off, but you can't really put your finger on it, and then he ends up fucking stabbing Hess. And it's not really explained, but it's like he's just a guy that's off.
Yeah, he's just fucked.
He's having this conversation about like one of his mates is in the Netherlands, and he's like, oh yeah, he would shout cut, but cut in Dutch is cunt. So he'd shout cut, but like the way that like he's describing it, it's just like really, really naturalistic. It doesn't feel like it's written. It just feels like, it literally just feels like some fella just sat down and was like, here, I'm going to tell you the story about this mate of mine that was in fucking the Netherlands, and we're just going to use it in this film.
Honestly, I completely forgot that was in the film. I thought that was, but I remembered hearing that. I feel like it was something that someone said to me last night. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I've completely forgot that was in the film.
Yeah, it's in, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, all the conversations in this film don't feel like they're written. They feel like they're just like off the cuff or something.
Yeah.
And it's just added to this like eerie vibe with the visuals and the music and stuff like that. That like the entire film has this like vibe throughout it, where it's like there's something weird going on, and even the fact that like it's not a conventional vampire film at all.
Yeah. Obviously, there's no mention of vampires or anything. No fangs or anything.
No fangs.
The old iconography. Yeah, it is really. It has a lot of interesting creative choices. A lot of them don't really. Like you wouldn't say, oh, that's I'll use that in my own film, but it's like this idiosyncratic kind of quality which works in its own kind of way,
Yeah.
Like they just pull it off. I don't think like you could reproduce it really, but it's just like and it's so visually driven as well that it can afford to have dialogue or like writing that isn't maybe like perfectly polished because it's very much a like visual storyline or like a sensory kind of experience,
sensory and like emotive, rather than like
it's emotional rather than
it's like
directed by like
it's less so about like
rationale.
What's going on and more so like what's going on makes you feel. And then when like so Medea, who's like Hess's assistant, stabs Hess and he ends up turning into a vampire, and then Medea, his widow comes to the gaff, who is Ganja, and Ganja falls in love with Hess, and then they turn into vampires. But like that happens like an hour and 20 minutes into the film, and by the time that Ganja's a vampire, there's only like 20 minutes left in the film, and then all of a sudden Hess is like, I can't live this life anymore. I can't do this. One of the weirder things about the film is the fact that it opens with like a title crawl telling you like Hess is this anthropological scholar, and like he's reading up on this like ancient African tribe, and then we get a voiceover from his like butler or something, who's also a pastor, who's like saying like, oh yeah, Hess was stabbed by whatever, and he's like addicted to blood. And then that happens 20 minutes into the film. But like,
that's why I was kind of confused.
That's not how you do. That's not how you make a film. You know what I mean? Like normally when a title crawl tells you what happened, you assume that that's what happened in the past, and then there's a voiceover which reinforces that. But then you see that happen anyway. It's very confusing to begin with. It feels like a lost film. Yeah.
It feels like a lost film.
Yeah.
It's like it was put together in like fragment or something like that.
Yeah, because if someone said like, oh yeah, there's missing pieces to this film, I would be completely on board with that.
Yeah,
but like this is the original cut of the film. It's like, what the fuck?
Or maybe the voiceover is added in later.
No, none of it. This is the original cut of the film entirely.
Why would you add the voiceover in?
I have no idea. It's just it like adds to the weirdness of because like the first like 20 minutes of the film, I feel like everything feels off because you're not really sure what's going on. Like you feel like Hess is already a vampire. So when he's talking to Mida, there's like this tension that's going on throughout it, and then it just switches. But it's like, oh no, Mida's actually the one that's like the one that you should be watching out for because he's the one that's
he's a vampire.
He's the one that's like unstable and like he's not doing good.
He ain't doing too good.
And then when Ganja shows up, she's like she's a very strong woman, but she's a bitch to that butler. I felt so bad for that butler. It's like bad out, Ganja.
It wasn't clear to me that she was Mida's wife as well.
Yeah, it's like off the thrown out at once one line, and that's it.
And then she finds him in the freezer, and she's like, "I know you killed my husband."
And then she's just cool with it.
I was like, "Yeah." She just kind of accepts it. It's
It's
like,
like,
"Oh,
yeah,
alright."
fine. You're hot. You're hotter than he was.
You're hot and rich. Okay, let's do this.
What did you think about all the parts that were in the film? Because it's like it starts off with part 1, the victim.
The parts, I didn't really get that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have part 1, the victim, part 2, survival, and part 3, letting go.
Yeah, I didn't really.
I feel like they
Get it.
tie again into the drug stuff of it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like even in terms of I'm pretty sure that in the voiceover, the pastor describes Hess as a victim of addiction, which is like not how, like not
the
like
conventional approach to
like
describing that, or
like not the like every like when you hear about people being like addicted to stuff, it's like they cause it themselves and stuff like that.
junkie. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, you're a junkie, like you're to blame for that.
Mm.
But like this one was like, no, like this is something like he literally was stabbed by someone that then turned him into an addict.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's a victim in this. Like yes, his like he goes off and kills people, but like, you know, he's the victim of his addiction.
Mm.
Which you look at the time when this film came out, this early 70s, it's the crack pandemic going on at that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like looking at this, like, you know, black people were the victims of what was going on at that time.
They're possessed.
They're possessed by this, you know, by the crack or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Possessed by something. You know, that's what addiction is. You know, just being hijacked, having your senses hijacked by something external to your body that you can't control. You know. It's just creepy. It's a interesting way to think about it. That obviously hadn't really been thought about until films like this came out.
I think that this is one of the first films where it like really
It's just
subverts that kind of
in pop
motif.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good. It is very good. But it's a weird film. It's such a strange film.
It's
And then
a
it's
very
like
strange one. Yeah.
it kind of just like keeps going for like nearly 2 hours, but nothing really happens in those 2 hours. Like
Yeah, and they get married and all.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they murder someone,
Mm.
and Hester kind of watches her as she has sex with someone.
Yeah, and then he dies.
Yeah, and they have sex. And it's a weird film. It's a weird film. It's a mad horny film. It's
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
horny film.
Yeah, there's a lot of bits.
Which I feel like if you're making a vampire film, it should be a little bit horny.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, it's a very sexy film
It's good.
in a really weird way.
Yeah.
But also, if
An uncomfortable way.
an uncomfortable way. Yeah. True. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of feels like a lost film though. I feel like if we found this in a vault today, you're like, oh, the guy who made this was killed in the middle of production or something like that. You'd be like, whoa,
Yeah.
that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But apparently this is the full cut. Like,
It's the full cut. Everything is as he intended. It just was.
it's just some mad art house film.
It's just a film that was like kind of ahead of its time. Even in terms, and like I was like reading up about the what's the word I'm looking for? Like behind the scenes. That's the word. Behind the scenes story to the film. Like when they were going to make this film, they were essentially like fucking gangsters that would be like union workers, and they'd be like, "Here, you're gonna pay us to make this so that you can make this film for protection, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Gunn was like, "Here, we do not have the money to pay you for this. Like that's not happening." And then they were like, "Oh well, you're shooting this film in like an old wooden house. Like old wooden houses go up in flames." And he's like, "You can be a part of this film, but like it's an all black cast. Like we're all fucking broke as shit, whatever." And essentially, he came out and he said that's the one time where like racism turned out to be a fucking benefit to black people, because they were like, "Oh fine, fuck you, make your fucking movie," because they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to, they're all fucking racist and they didn't want nothing to do with the film.
Yeah. Oh god.
Like this film came out and like even in terms of like it was against the whole blaxploitation and stuff like that. It's a film that's like really like empowering to like black culture at the time. Even the fact that Hess is like a rich, well educated, he speaks multiple different languages, he's smart, educated, lives in this bougie ass gaff, black man, and like from what came out at the time, that was not done at the time at all.
Yeah.
At all. Like black people were seen and like shown and portrayed as like stereotypes, as criminals, as drug addicts, which Hess is in this film, but he's the victim of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Even Mita, I think Mita's the coolest character in this.
Yeah, Meat is so cool.
But that's just Bill Gunn, like.
Yeah,
Cool guy.
Bill Gunn, like he made a film before this that was never released.
Mm.
It was called Stop or something like that.
Mm.
Got an X rating and was never released.
I want to see that
I
film.
want to see that film. There's like you can't see that film apparently. That is like a lost film,
Oh, really?
unfortunately. Yeah.
Lost films are so cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could
Yeah.
find them.
I wish there was a way to see those films.
Yeah.
But I want to see more Bill Gunn films because like this is fucking cool.
Yeah, what's his deal?
This is weird. He didn't make that many films though. He was more of a playwright
No.
and an
right.
actor. But this is a cool film. I recommend. It's on YouTube as well.
Yeah, big recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Just to vibe it out,
Just to vibe it out.
you know.
You know, it's about and I
'Cause
even
you
like
watch a lot of it in fragment as well.
Yeah.
Just dip in for a bit
yeah,
because it is so fragmentary,
yeah.
really.
There's like all these bits and pieces that are going on. Even the fact that it's in parts
Mm.
and stuff like that. And then at the end, you have like a really positive like religious note on it, where like Hess turns to religion. And he's like, I need help. I need my soul to be redeemed. Preacher, can you help me? And I think that's like, you have like all this gospel music and like all the chants and stuff like that, and it's
Mm.
like really powerful scene of like Hess like just submitting himself to the Lord essentially,
To God.
and then he kills himself essentially by just sitting in front of a cross.
Yeah. With the cross hanging over him. Yeah, I was just reading the alternate titles for the film: Black Evil, Black Vampire, Blackout, Blood Couple, Double Possession, Vampires of Harlem. What does that have to do with the film at all?
See, that's the thing. Like this film,
Vampires of Harlem.
yeah,
Because
that-
they're black.
yeah, because they're black, and it's like that. Like this film was meant to be a blaxploitation film.
Yeah,
It just
so,
isn't.
It's so ridiculous because
Yeah.
it's like a full-on art house film.
yeah,
It's so funny.
like I can see why this film was fucking hated by the studio, because like that's not what we wanted at all.
Yeah.
The and the main guy, oh fuck, I don't have his name here on my list. Duane Jones. He's in, talking about George A. Romero earlier. He's the guy that's in Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
and he's very good, very very good. He's a good actor.
He's Hess.
He's Hess.
Yeah. No. Bill Gunn.
Bill Gunn. He's a king. Didn't make that many films, I don't think. I think he made like 3 or 4.
His only other film is Personal Problems, which is just a meta soap opera, which sounds kind of interesting. The film was originally intended to be broadcast on television, but was not picked up by PBS. So I don't know if that would be worth watching. But
Yeah, he seems like a director that was ahead of his time,
that
making
kinda
films in a time where they just weren't
It
appreciated.
kind of sounds like Twin Peaks, meta soap opera.
Actually does.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good though. Very good film. I like it a lot. Especially like especially in the context of when it came out, because it is just a film that was underappreciated when it came out. I feel like if it came out, I was gonna say if it came out at any other time, I might have been more appreciated.
I don't
but
think so. Yeah.
I don't even think of that,
Mm.
because it's
Maybe if
just
it came
a
out
weird-
like 100 years from now, they'd be like, "Oh, this makes so much sense."
yeah,
And they'd be like, the Paropod episode 88. They really told us what the
yeah,
crack
they're on
was.
the nose.
These guys, they were just right about everything.
Oh, I tell you, we move on to some news
Let's
very
go
quickly, because we got
to the
just-
news section.
I just found this today, right? So, Blumhouse have announced that they're going to release a film called They/Them. It is going to be a film based in a gay conversion camp and is a queer empowerment story. But I think Blumhouse mostly do horror films. So is this a slasher called They/Them?
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, like a non-binary horror film. I feel like this is either going to be the most empowering LGBT film ever made, or it's going to be incredibly homophobic.
Yeah.
Or transphobic.
Kevin Bacon's in it.
Oh God.
Kevin Bacon is the lead. Kevin Bacon's great, man.
Yeah, but
I love Kevin
What's
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon's politics?
I'd say really good.
I feel like, I hope so.
I'd say really good.
Yeah,
He seems really nice.
I hope.
Oh wait, he's the owner of the conversion camp.
I will see.
This is the role he signed up for. They didn't tell him the rest of the script.
Yeah.
He was like, "These are your lines." He's like, "Sign me up."
It's like, sign me up, this sounds good. Yeah, I'm just curious as to what this film's going to be like. You know?
Wait, yeah. John Logan wrote Gladiator, Skyfall, The Aviator, and now he's writing They/Them.
He's directing this.
He's directing this.
It's his directorial debut.
Okay.
After like Academy Award winning screenplay writer.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck this film is gonna be.
I don't know. Wait, here we go. Here's the synopsis. As the camp's methods become increasingly more psychologically unsettling, the campers must work together to protect themselves. When a mysterious killer starts claiming victims, things get even more dangerous.
It is literally a slasher.
Yeah, it's an actual slasher film.
And like Blumhouse are like mad hit or miss, because I was looking at like what they've done. So they've done like, they did the Purge series, and they did like Halloween 2018, but they also did Halloween Kills. They've done
a lot of things.
They've done Get Out and Us and Insidious, but they've also done like a load of shit.
Load of shite.
A load of shite. So this film could either be really good or really bad.
Yeah. Logan told such and such this idea. This idea has been germinating within me my whole life. It's so specific.
Is this one trans? He just doesn't want to say it.
Oh, he's gay.
Oh, right.
I've loved horror movies as long as I can remember. I think because monsters represented the other, and as a gay kid, I felt a powerful sense of kinship with these characters who were different, outlawed, or forbidden. I think it could be good.
Man, this could be lethal.
It could be good.
This could be very good.
It
then.
sounds like he has a few decent ideas knocking in around in his head, you know?
Yeah. Directed, written by a gay man.
Yeah.
It's about gay conversion.
Yeah, it has Kevin Bacon in it.
Let's dance.
Let's do it. Let's get foot loose.
Hopefully this is good. I hope this is good, because
it sounds interesting anyway.
This could be like, again, like this could be extremely homophobic, but it could be unreal.
It could be just extremely like, blah, you know.
It could be Texas Chainsaw 2021.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Or 2022. 2022.
Yeah, 2022. Yeah, because I feel like part of that film is trying to be something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just like too dumb to even like attempt it, you know?
Yeah, I was listening to Nick Sphere's podcast on Texas Chainsaw, like the newest one, and like she was saying like normally in a slasher film, like you're meant to like in somewhat root for the victims, but in like Texas Chainsaw, if you're just to describe like a bunch of randos come in and they claim this land and they use like state force to like kill a woman, and then like the son of the woman dons a mask and takes revenge. Yeah. Like that's what happens in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like that's you're meant to be rooting for Leatherface, but he's meant to be the villain. But the victims are also the villain. Like
there is no one really to root for. Like,
that doesn't work. And from what he's saying as well, if he's talking about like I've always identified with like the other, and the other being like the slasher in this film. But the slasher is based on a gay conversion. Maybe this could be a really good sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
Just as I was saying, I was like, maybe this could be like a non-transphobic sleepaway camp.
Remember we said almost a year ago now, over a year ago actually, that they should remake Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
And now look what they're doing.
Maybe this could
germinating in his head all his life.
Mm-hmm.
I very much fucking doubt it. Like he listened to our podcast.
He listened to us, and that's it.
You know, it was always going to happen. It's such a great idea. It's a good movie. Like,
yeah, maybe let's make a less problematic Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, let's remake a great movie that's already ready to go, but it just has one fatal flaw that we can easily fix.
Yeah,
there you go.
There we go.
It's like printing money.
That actually is, to be fair. Like,
you know,
this could. Yeah, I'm excited for this film now.
Let's do it. When is it out? Next year?
I think it's like pre-production at the moment.
Like
they've like released like
stills
and stuff like that. But that's it. And like I think it's like again like a low budget horror film, so there's not really anyone in it except for Kevin Bacon. But again,
pretty big next year.
What the fuck has Kevin Bacon done in the past few years? No offense to him, like I like Kevin Bacon, but
he was in a TV show like 10 years ago, which is pretty good.
That's 10 years ago, yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was alright. Like I can't remember what it was called. Kevin Bacon TV show.
Footloose, the series.
It was called The Following. Ever watch it?
Oh, I've heard of it.
It's actually pretty good.
I've heard of it, yeah.
He's also
How many seasons of that is there?
I think there's 3.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, definitely heard of it. But yeah, hopefully that's good. Will we move on to some listener questions?
Let's move on. If you want to ask us a listener question, you can get to us at the Paro at
No, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it, Mark.
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to go again?
If you want to ask us a listener question, you can get to us at the Paro.
No.
Oh my god.
You've done this like 44 times. You've done this 44 times.
You can get to us at paro_pod.
That's it.
Or you can email us at theparopod@gmail.com.
Okay, I was wondering.
We should get an automated voice to do that. You know?
I was wondering why you're getting confused. I was like, oh yeah, the email is. Yeah, okay.
I was getting confused.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Our first question is coming in from Paddy, and Paddy's asking us, what's our favorite German expressionist film?
My favorite German expressionist. I get asked this question all the time. My favorite German. No, definitely Dr. Caligari. I think it's such a cool story.
I haven't seen Dr. Caligari.
You should really watch it. It's
I
only, it's only
should.
80 minutes long. It's on
Yeah.
Prime, and it's so creepy.
Yeah, I don't really have an excuse not to watch it. Again, I think it's even less than 80 minutes. I think it's only 75.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah, and that's like the German expressionist film.
Yeah, that's like it's really basic answer, but like that's just the one I probably most recent I've watched and probably the best.
Yeah, that and
The one that's
Nosferatu are like the two.
Yeah, the one that's made most of an impression on me, you know.
Did you ever see Nosferatu?
Yeah, a long time ago.
I've never seen it.
I remember it was on Netflix.
Yeah,
for a long
I remember
time.
watching like 20 minutes of this film. I was like, this is black and white and silent and boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like 13 when I watched it.
Yeah. I was like 15 or something, but like I remember the cut they had on Netflix wasn't very good. I just remember being really blurry, but I don't know what that was. Maybe it was my connection or something.
Yeah.
But
Especially Netflix back in the day, you have no idea then.
yeah, I don't know, but I'll have to rewatch that because we should rewatch that.
We should.
But Caligari is the first thing that would come to mind for myself.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Fritz Lang's M.
Yeah, I still have to watch M. I still have
M's
to
very
watch that.
good. Very, very good.
Mm.
Good use of shadows and German expressionism and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're going mental, all those shadows and all.
Yeah, and like I always think like with German expressionism, like the interesting thing like, is like, you know, that thing that people always say about it, it's like, well, let the fascism in like Germany and stuff like that. But like when you read it, when you're looking at it, it's like you can kind of like you actually can kind of see it a little bit, you know.
You can't understand why they went there.
Yeah. It's like, you know what, I kind of do. You know what, Hitler maybe was right. I'm gonna delete that because someone could like fucking edit that out. Just me saying that.
Oh god. Yeah. No.
Just to say, I do not condone the actions of Hitler.
Disavow.
Man, this is what happens when we have drinks before the fucking podcast. We come on, all of a sudden we're pro-Nazi.
After 3 drinks in.
3 drinks in, it all goes to hell. No, yeah, I'll go for Fritz Lang.
Yeah.
What, be cheeky and say the Night of the Hunter.
Oh yeah,
because that's
that
not
is the same lineage, direct lineage.
That's an American expressionist film.
yeah. But yeah, that's a very very kind of direct lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many others that we haven't seen. We're such plebs.
Yeah, there's like the kind of thing is that they're all black and white and fucking silent films. Like I don't really watch silent films that often.
Yeah, I would really. I'd like.
Because like, I'm sorry, my attention span is shit to begin with. So I need to like if I'm just looking at something, I need some audio to fucking
yeah, to keep it going. Now we'll have to I'll have to rewatch Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
Yeah.
For the laugh.
For the laugh.
You know.
For the lols, you know.
For the lols. It's a pretty funny film.
You know, SpongeBob. I'll just rewatch that episode of SpongeBob. It's basically the same thing. Hashling and Slasher.
Yeah, we just mistook it for Nosferatu. German expressionism. They're really ahead of their time.
They really were. SpongeBob was miles out of his time. And then our next question is coming in from Connor. And Connor is asking us, do you think Francis saw Otto's autopsy?
Oh, this is from Richie.
Oh, is it from Richie? I thought it was Connor was asking us. It was
Yeah.
coming in from Richie. Richie is asking us, do you think Francis saw Otto's autopsy? That is in reference to Francis from Malcolm in the Middle with Otto, the
German ranch owner
Yeah.
who takes him in around season 4.
yes, he did.
Absolutely. There's an episode where they actually share a bed together for a few nights.
I'm just saying that Otto took Francis out back and all yelled at him with his dick.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. His autopsy.
Yeah. Francis had to make his rent, you know.
They definitely explored each other's bodies anyway. You know?
Oh yeah.
You know, in that bed, they're all sweaty. Otto it's canon that Otto sleeps naked at all times as well.
So there we go.
So think about it. You know.
Think about it. Would you not fuck Otto? Think about it.
Get back to us on that one.
Yeah. Everyone answer that question. That's our question to the audience. Would you fuck Otto from Malcolm in the Middle? Will we leave it at that?
We'll leave it there for this week. My recommended film for episode 90 is Bulworth by Warren Beatty.
90, Jesus, man, we've been doing this for a while.
Episode 90, oh god. Only 5 more recommended episodes and then we're at 100.
And then we just stop.
Yeah, then we just like radio silence. We end at 99, just radio silence.
That'd be hilarious.
Tune in for episode 100.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like, and we're back. And we're back from the break.
2-year break. Yeah, that'd be good. But no, yeah, Bulworth, Warren Beatty. I don't know anything about this film really, except it's satirical black comedy, political kind of thing.
And Warren Beatty's a fucking weirdo.
Is he?
Oh yeah. Do you ever see Warren Beatty?
No.
Oh yeah. Oh, wait. Look up. Oh, wait.
Warren Beatty. I don't know anything about him. I just heard this film is good and funny. So we'll see what it's like.
Oh wait, I'm just gonna get Mark's live reaction to Warren Beatty right here on the podcast, because you're gonna tell me that that man does not look like a fucking weirdo.
Oh right. What else is he in? He has one of those knowing smiles.
He has a face that like doesn't look like a real face.
It does kind of look like a mask. Warren, what else has he been in? Man, I feel like you said that to me, and then
He's in Bonnie and Clyde.
I was thinking about it. I was like, do I know that guy? But I've never heard his name.
He's directed like 3
He's in
films.
loads of shit.
Yeah.
Well, as an actor, like I've seen him as an actor.
He's in Dick Tracy as well. Did you ever see Dick Tracy?
Yeah.
Dick Tracy's like one of the most hideous films ever fucking made.
Yeah, that is actually, it's a disgusting film,
Yeah. So maybe we'll talk about Dick Tracy as well. But sure, we'll leave it at that for this week. We'll be back next week with Browntown Shy Talk and the Reg. You know yourself. Talk to yous.
See ya.